Hello, all caffeine quitters all over the world. Welcome to my channel. My name is Anni, and I'm here today with my sweet friend from Texas, Mandy.
Hello.
Hello, Mandy, and welcome. And today we have this new live and new topic, which is setting healthy boundaries in recovery journey. And if you are new to my channel and you are thinking, what journey, like what this is all about? This is about quitting caffeine, recovering from the caffeineism, topic that are very underestimated, not so much talk about. So that's what we are here to do, to tell our experience and just talk about topics that are interesting to us.
Yeah.
And also I'm gonna translate this live in Finnish, so my Finnish viewers will see this also. So welcome all the Finnish viewers. Joten tervetuloa tähän liveen, Anni täällä ja Mandy Texasista. Ja tänään meillä on liven aiheena terveiden rajojen opettelu kofeinismin jälkeen tai kofeinismista parantuessa. Ja mä tosiaan käännän tämän liven nyt suomeksi parhaalla tavallani. Älkää ihmetellekö, jos se ei ole täydellistä. Joten tervetuloa tähän liveen ja tervetuloa myös Mandy. So Mandy, stage is definitely yours. Now.
Oh my goodness. Well, hello everyone. Hope everyone's doing well and understanding this, this caffeineism stuff and quitting and wanting to quit and healing from it. It's such a process. And now that we're where we are, we're learning it's like these new learned behaviors or the behaviors that we had before. And it's like life, you start to like really get into like life lesson stuff when you're completely sober from every mind altering substance. It's like things that maybe we wanted before where, I'm trying to think about how where I'm going to pause for you. Yeah. We're kind of in this area of like so much clarity and awareness that so many things that maybe we took for granted in addiction, even if we had awareness of it, we weren't even really able to apply certain things like saying no, having these boundaries, having a backbone, not being a people pleaser. I think a lot of us that go through this had issues with that for some reason, whatever reason it was, if it was traumas or whatever. But being sober really is not just being aware of it, but truly being able to apply loving ourselves, what we talked about last time, that self-love, and that setting the boundaries is a big part of that.
Okei, yritetään. Eli kofeiinismista parantumisen jälkeen niin me ollaan alettu oppimaan asettamaan rajoja ihan uudella, terveemmällä tavalla, mitä ei silloin, kun oltiin kofeiiniaddiktion kynsissä, niin edes ole osannut ajatella, koska silloin on ollut monestikin semmoista ihmisten miellyttämistä ja on ollut vähän niin kuin ovimattona, antanut ihmisten kohdella itseämme, miten ne on halunnut. Ja ei ole siitä kyse, ettei olisi halunnut asettaa niitä rajoja, mutta ei ole niin kuin pystynyt sillä terveellä tavalla, koska addiktiossa ne aivot ei toimi normaalisti. Ja kun sä oot siellä taistele- ja pakennetilassa, niin sun on hirmu hankalaa hallita niitä sun tunnereaktioita, vaikka sä ehkä järjellä tietäisitkin, että sä et halua toimia näin, mutta se ei vaan oikeasti niin kuin tapahdu luonnollisesti. Niin nyt kun on kohta tätä paranemismatkaa jo tovi takana päin, niin alkaa oikeasti kaikki tapahtua niin kuin hyvin luonnollisella tavalla. Ja se on aika ihmeellistä ja aika ihanaa. I don't know if I translate it right, but yeah, it's starting to be more natural. Like a baby's brain, we are starting to have that white paper. Do you want to tell that paper experience?
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second. And I just think that's such an important topic because in addiction, like I said, I was aware, and the older that I got, I knew I just wanted to speak my mind more, and I didn't want to be that people pleaser anymore, and I wanted to say no more. But I feel, just my opinion, for me specifically, I know for sure if I would have stayed on caffeine, I would have been aware, even the older that I got, but I never would have been able to naturally, because it really is natural. We just kind of naturally speak your mind. It's like a kid. I remember being a kid and saying how I felt and not worrying about what anyone else thought.
Eli kofeiinismissa niin paljon kuin olisi halunnutkin puhua omaa totuuttaan ja olla välittämättä siitä, mitä muut ihmiset ajattelee ja olla välittämättä siitä, että tuomitseeko muut, niin se ei niin kuin vaan tapahtunut, koska oli koko ajan niitä pakkoajatuksia ja semmoista huolta, mitä se ahdistus aiheuttaa, että on koko ajan vähän niin kuin semmoisessa pelokkaassa ja huolestuneessa tilassa, että mitähän muut ihmiset minusta ajattelee. Mutta nyt sitten niin esimerkiksi kun me tehdään näitä livejä, niin tämä tulee vaan niin kuin ihan luonnollisesti. Ei tarvitse niin kuin miettiä enää, että ne ihmiset, jotka tästä tiedosta hyötyy, niin ne tulee tänne ja kuuntelee. Että enää ei ole niin kuin sitä epäilystä ja semmoista huolta, koska se keskushermosto on myös rauhoittunut. And our central nervous system is now calmed down. So that's why we don't have that constant worry.
Exactly.
We are not in that fight or flight state. So I also say that now when we are doing these lives even, I'm not worrying anymore about the bad comments or the naysayers like I was worrying when I started this channel, because I was still having so much anxiety, and those neural pathways in my brain, those messages didn't work. Like, communication didn't work, but now it's all starting to clear out, so it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, exactly. There's almost no way, if you're in that stress state, that fight or flight state, that you can have that confidence that we're getting back. That's so natural. Because when you're in that state, you want to be a people pleaser because you need, this is just how I feel about it. You need, the more that you have on your side, the more you're going to be protected and the more that you're going to feel safe. So if you're in a constant fear state and stress state, you can't be alone. You can't be a confident person that can stand your ground and speak your mind, even if, because that's what we're afraid of. I think I was like, if I said how I felt to people, even if it was a simple thing like telling someone no, and they got mad at me, oh, what does that mean if they're mad at me? I was always so worried about people being mad at me, always, my whole life. It was so debilitating. And I see it now so clearly how much it is connected to that stress state and in that state of needing people's approval to survive in a way. And it's all this, what I want to talk about, all the learned behaviors that we made for survival. It was like a survival skill.
Kun me oltiin siinä selviytymisen tilassa, niin meillä oli näitä kaikkea omia keinoja, niin kuin tavallaan sekin, että se, että halusi miellyttää muita, niin se on tietyllä lailla selviytymiskeino, koska sä tarvit niitä muita ihmisiä, että sulla on sitä turvaa, että sä tuntisit olos turvassa, koska sä et ole turvassa siinä tilassa, sä oot pelon tilassa, mutta sitten kun sä parannet siitä addiktiosta ja sun aivot alkaa toimia normaalisti, niin sä pystyt olemaan itse varma myös ihan yksiksesi. Sä tiedät, että se sun niin kuin, itsevarmuus ja se, mitä sä teet, niin se ei ole kiinni muista ihmisistä tai siitä, mitä ne ajattelee. Ja että sä alat ymmärtää ja niin kuin tajuta, että sulla on oikeus tulla kuulluksi ja puhua sun omaa totuutta huolimatta siitä, mitä muut ajattelee, mutta vaikka sä olisit tiennytkin tämän ennen, jo silloin kun sä olit kofeiinismissa, niin sä et välttämättä tunnetasolla oikeasti ollut rauhallinen. So I just want to also point out that while we were victims of the caffeineism, we already knew about this stuff. We did knew about healthy boundaries. We did have maybe some therapies or some coping tools, but we really aren't able to own our own truth like we are now in that state of calmness and state of clear-minded, sometimes still the pathways are trying to search a connection, and that's what we are calling our kinks still in this journey with Mandy, that we have still sometimes times, especially during our periods, that our brain is still rewiring, but it's like now we are there in another side of this recovery, which is pretty cool, where we are
Yeah.
not afraid anymore.
Yeah. Years of learned behavior takes a while to unravel. And
Vuosien
another,
opitut niin sanotut selviytymismekanismit ja kaikki jutut, niin siinä kestää vähän aikaa purkaa niitä. Ja Mandy näyttää nyt semmoisen yhden esimerkin tuolla paperilla. And you're gonna show us the paper.
yeah, years of coping behavior. But one thing too, I always talk about the alcohol because when so I was in that state of stress and then I would drink the alcohol and I would go out, then I would feel, I'd get a buzz. Then I could speak my mind. Then I could tell people how I felt only in those moments. But that became a coping mechanism too, the alcohol, obviously. But so it's like our whole life we were in addiction and we have all these learned behaviors, patterns, coping mechanisms, whatever it is, and for the individual. And then so this is our whole life in addiction. It's just going to be like this. And we're there, we're alive, we're functioning, but we're like this.
Yes.
And so then you quit everything. And then you slowly start to rewire, to heal, to recover, to come back to you the way we were intended to be. And it takes time to unravel, and you're taking time and that everything's rewiring. And then eventually you get to a place where you're free of addiction and you're unraveled, but you have all these little pathways still that are kind of implemented. They're there that eventually will rewire too, because as long as you don't go back to addiction, you're going to feel the way you feel about something. If you have a conversation with somebody and it still doesn't go the way you want it to go when you're sober, that's okay, because eventually the conversation or the way that you felt or anything, it's eventually going to go the way you want it to, because you're not going back to addiction. If you go back to addiction, the addiction won and those patterns are going to be in place. But the longer you stay away from substances, the more everything's just going to start to make sense and work properly. You're going to be your most authentic self, if that makes sense. So anyway, you finally get to a place, let's just put it in a time, that's 3 or 4 years. You still have a few little kinks that are your learned pathways, but then those start to smooth out over time. And that's what takes so long, I think, in this journey. It's not just for some of us that fall off the mountain and we go through the post-acute withdrawal and we go through the rewiring and that kind of like the stress that it puts the body under and going back to homeostasis and all that. That takes, a good minute, right? But then you've got all these learned behaviors and patterns that are ironing out. And that's cool. Like you're functioning, you're starting to function. But if you go and talk to your coworkers or your neighbor or your family and they say something or they do something and you're still kind of like, oh, that's kind of, to me, the brain, and I know I'm talking too long. That's kind of the brain going, to me, when you get into these altercations with people or somebody says something you don't like, to me, that's still the brain going, go back to addiction. And then you're like, oh, this is too stressful for me. What am I going to do to cope? And you get all upset. Well, get upset, let it process out, because eventually you're going to maybe like not be around that person much longer anymore. Maybe you'll remove yourself from the situation. Or you'll just learn to like one ear out the other, just not let it bother you or sweep it under the rug or just kind of ignore it. And I think that when we're still healing, we don't ignore it and it bothers us still sometimes, but eventually it won't. And we're just setting those boundaries. I don't know. I just think it's so cool. This is how I'm seeing it in the last 3.5 years, kind of unravel.
Okei.
And I know I talked a lot.
Mandy selitti tuon paperin avulla niin kuin se esimerkki, että se addiktio on vähän niin kuin toi paperimytty. Siellä on ne kaikki meidän opitut käyttäytymistavat, meidän opitut selviytymiskeinot. Ja sitten kun me aletaan parantua tästä kofeiinismista ja kaikesta, niin kun me ei käytetä mitään mieleen vaikuttavia aineita, ja se on myöskin tärkeää tässä ymmärtää, että kun sä alat parantua siitä kaikesta, niin se mytty alkaa pikkuhiljaa selvitä. Mutta se, miksi siinä menee niin kauan aikaa, hyvät 3, 4, 5 vuotta, miten kauan ikinä kokonaisuudessaan, on se, että sun täytyy tavallaan luoda niitä uusia yhteyksiä. Sä tavallaan niin kuin pois opit myös niitä sun vanhoja opittuja tapoja, joita sä oot käyttänyt selviytyessäsi. Sun aivot niin kuin kasvattaa niitä uusia neuropathways, niitä yhteyksiä, ja se kommunikaatio, mikä siellä tapahtuu, niin sä alat niin kuin toimimaan eri tavalla. Se on paljon luonnollisempaa. Sä et enää reagoi tilanteisiin samalla lailla niin kuin ennen. Sä pystyt reagoimaan rauhallisuudesta ja siitä läsnä olevasta hetkestä sen sijaan, että sä reagoit sieltä niin kuin pelosta käsin, kun se sun taistele- ja pakennetila on aktivoitunut, jolloin se ohittaa nämä sun ajattelevat aivot, se alkukantaisten aivojen osa. Ja se helpottaa elämää valtavasti, mutta siinä menee aikaa, ja sen takia se on tärkeää, että ei mene takaisin sinne addiktioon, ja sen takia se on myös tärkeää ymmärtää, miksi monet menee takaisin addiktioon, koska se on pitkä prosessi. It's a long process, it takes time, and that's why it's easier when we understand this process. It's easier also to understand why people do relapse and why people do take some kind of mind-altering substances, replacing from some drug for another.
Yes, and we talked a lot about that in our last video, why relapse can happen, because you don't just quit caffeine or quit drugs and just expect to just be, after a certain amount of time. This took a long time to have learned patterns and behaviors because we were coping in addiction. That took time, and it's going to take time to unravel. But the pain when you fall off the mountain and that really intense anxiety, that does level down. And then you've got, these life lesson type stuff that can have tend for some people, because it's hard, because you're raw, you're vulnerable, you're not using the substance anymore to cope. And especially for me, like, I would go to alcohol too, like I've said a lot. And so relapse can happen because of that, because it is not just challenging, but it takes time to have new learned healthy boundaries. But I did want to
said my voice is a little bit mild, so I'm testing, eli mä testaan, onko nyt mun ääni parempi. Ja joo, tosiaan voi laittaa chattiin myös kysymyksiä, eli tässä livessä me puhutaan terveiden rajojen asettamisesta addiktio paranemisessa, mutta voi laittaa, tää vissiin vähän kaikuu muuten, there is a little bit echo, mutta voi laittaa kysymyksiä. So you can also put questions, even this is not Q&A. Ardik was asking, is this Q&A or just discussion? So we are just having conversation, but you are always welcome to ask questions.
I guess I don't know what that means. Yeah, I thought that they could. Yeah, of course.
I already forget what you were explaining there in the last part, but maybe you shortly can say
yeah, just that it takes the time to have these unhealthy behaviors and patterns, and it's going to take time even after the initial post-acute withdrawal, really intense anxiety stuff that we go through, and depression that we go through, and all the symptoms that come along with it. Then we start to learn the new healthy behaviors and patterns, and that takes time as well. And that's okay. But because of that, sometimes it can be uncomfortable in some situations. People will tend to maybe not even realize that they're doing it or wanting to relapse because of it can be uncomfortable until it just the patterns become so normal and we don't need or want the substances anymore. The brain is completely rewired back to the body's in homeostasis. But I mean, here's another thing too. I've seen it with addicts with alcohol that quit for like 30 years and then they go back and boom, they were back in addiction just like that. So it's not like you're cured in that way of addiction. They're addictive for a reason. I don't think we're ever cured from addiction. I'm talking about the way that the neurotransmitters work and how we can live in joy and all that. Yeah, if you go back at any time, you go back to a drug, you're putting that chemical mind-altering substance back in your body. It's not going to work for the most perfect person. No one's immune to what drugs can do to the brain and body.
Joo, eli niin kun me aletaan parantua tuosta kofeiinismista, tulee ne vierotusoireet ja sitten tämä post-acute withdrawals on se termi englanniksi, mutta se on suomeksi sillä ei oikein ole semmoista vastinetta, se on jälkivierotusoireet, eli kaikkea mitä tapahtuu aivoissa ennen kuin se keho ja mieli ja kaikki ne välittäjäaineet palaa tasapainoon, plus monella meillä, kenellä oli tämä järkyttävä burnoutti, että meidän se ahdistus on ollut siellä aivan katossa, niin kaikki ne oireet kestää niin kuin monella pitkään parantua vuosia. Ja sitten sen lisäksi ne kaikki vanhat käyttäytymismallit, eli ajattele, että sulla on sitten jossain kohtaa vähän niin kuin tämmöinen puhas paperi, ja sitten sun pitää päättää, mitä sä sillä puhtaalla paperilla teet. Et siinä kohtaa niin kuin moni repsahtaa, koska ei ole ehkä valmis kuitenkaan niin kuin muuttamaan niitä omia käyttäytymismalleja, vaikka se yleensä tässä paranemisessa, kun sä et mene takaisin addiktioon, niin se alkaa luonnollisesti tapahtua. Sä alat löytää luonnollisesti asioista iloa ja motivaatiota ihan niin kuin tavallisista asioista, pienistä asioista. Mutta koska se ei ole semmoinen lineaarinen prosessi, siihen kuuluu paljon sitä ahdistusta, masennusta, kaikkia niitä oireita, niin moni menee helposti takaisin siihen huumeeseen. Ja Mandy myös kertoi, että ei me olla ikinä niin kuin immuuneita sille addiktiolle, että monet alkoholistitkin vielä 30 vuoden jälkeen, ne ottaa yhden ryypyn, ne on takaisin siinä. Ei se tapahdu ikinä, että se addiktio on siellä aina, jos me mennään takaisin siihen huumeeseen. Mä itse tykkään sanoa aina, että kun ihmiset tulee, että minä kestän kyllä, mä voin ottaa mitä tahansa, ei vaikuta minuun, niin addiktiolle häviää aina. You always will lose when you battle with addiction. That is the battle that you never win, actually. I always hear people saying, caffeine doesn't affect me, I can use it like wildly. Or people say that caffeine is my type of drug. It's not actually a drug. There are so many things. But remember also that if you go, say, to heroin addict, stop using heroin, they ask you like how or why or I can't. But if you go, say, to caffeine addict that quit caffeine, they don't know that they are addicted.
Yeah. Oh, so many people say that to me. It doesn't affect them. It just drives me. It's getting to the point where it doesn't bother me that much anymore. But it used to, and it still does, because it's like it is affecting you in some way, but I can't keep worrying about, I just have to focus on me. That's what I'm learning. I had so many learned behaviors and I was very codependent in ways and wanting to fix people. And if somebody said something and had their own opinion, I had to like say mine and my opinion. And, I wanted to make it right, even though it was just my opinion. And it's like, Mandy, focus on you. Like, that's all I can do is focus on me. And I'm learning that. And I've always known that. But again, truly applying that and practicing it in day-to-day life and it becoming natural and easy and not force. That's what's beautiful. That's where we're headed. I can tell it's totally happening now. It's like, oh yeah, this life is about me, nobody else.
Ja samalla kun paranee addiktiosta, niin ei ole enää sitä tarvetta väitellä ihmisten kanssa, että antaa ihmisten sanoa, antaa niiden käyttää mitä ne haluaa. Meille se on ollut niin kuin mukavaa, että ei mulla ole enää tarvetta mun läheisille niin kuin alkaa kertomaan niin kuin mitään neuvoja tai että voi nauttia heidän seurastaan niin kuin huolimatta siitä, mitä ne tekee, eikä triggeröidy siitä enää. Ymmärtää, että tässä elämässä on kyse jokaisen siitä omasta paranemista omasta polusta ja se tarve, kun ei ole enää niin kuin siellä taistelee pakennetilassa ja se keskushermosto on niin kuin siellä rauhallisessa tilassa, niin sulle ei ole niin kuin tarvetta alkaa väittelee ihmisten kanssa, että se tarve häviää. Sä saatat ehkä sanoa, niin kuin Mandy sanoo, että sä voit sanoa jollekin, jos joku riitelee sun kanssa, että sä oot ehkä oikeassa ja jättää sen siihen. So, like you said, Mandy, if somebody starts to argue with us, you always say that you can say you may be right. And leave it there. So next time, whenever somebody is arguing with you, you can just say you are maybe right, and leave it there.
And I got that from Coach Cato, but I haven't applied it yet. I think about it. My neighbor there was a little thing with my neighbor, but I did want to say about life is about me. When I said that, my life is about me. That's what's so beautiful. Everybody's life is about them. Like, not the world is about me, but I just wanted to make that clear that when it comes to life, we are important in our own right, everybody. But yes.
Jaakko asked me, is the translation necessary? Like, maybe everybody knows English. Maybe, but there are maybe some people who doesn't. Mutta voitte sanoa, että mitä koetteko, että tämä kääntäminen, auttaako tämä mitään? Enkä mä välttämättä edes käännä oikeasti sanasta sanaan niin kuin mä haluaisin, mutta saa kommentoida. So you can always put something like in the chat. Is this helpful when I translate?
I think it's kind of cool. And it helps me stop. It helps me to not keep going. Because I can just talk.
You are so smart and you have a lot of... You have to speak when you have something to say.
Most Finnish people understand English.
Most.
But you were typing, hey. But he likes to type in Finnish, so maybe that's the preferred language, though. I don't know.
Yeah. But thank you.
But I understand.
Yes.
I understand what he's saying. Yeah. It's kind of fun for now. Maybe we keep it up. Maybe we don't. It's your channel, so you do what you want.
Let's see. Ehkä katsotaan, jos ei tarvitse kääntää. But
I think it's been kind of fun. I don't know. What was I going to say? Oh, thank you for saying I'm smart. That's such a...
Because you
It's so funny because in addiction, I had such bad anxiety that my brain didn't work properly. And if I tried to have a conversation with somebody, I had like 5 different things running in my head at once. And I couldn't get complete sentences out. I would stumble on my words. I would get sweaty and nervous. It was so bad. My nervous system was just like, ah! And I had no idea it was the caffeine. That's why I always say in pretty much every video, I was completely clueless of what caffeine was doing to me. But yeah, we're all smart. We are. I mean, we might not all be like geniuses in the form of like Einsteins or anything like that, but I think that when we have anxiety, I mean, it can mess with our digestion, our reproductive system, all these things. Of course, it's going to mess with our cognitive, our ability to focus. Everybody says, oh, it helps you focus. No. Like in the moment of like a workout or something like that. But when it starts to really, I think if you maybe cycle it and do it every now and then, but that's not what this drug does. It makes you want it every day, and it's not good to put that in your body. Anyway, I don't even know why I said you could have it every once in a while and maybe it does that, but it only does it temporarily. And then that's what drugs do. Like cocaine, you're going to feel really good and you're going to be able to do this and this and that and be creative, but it's such a lie. And it raises those neurotransmitters to a point of where the brain can naturally do it. It puts it in such a feel-good state that's a lie that makes you not ever be able to do it naturally. And we like to talk about that sometimes, and maybe we'll talk about that in the future. We wanted to talk about the neurons and the pathways growing back.
Yes.
And it's just not naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. It's such good stuff to learn because it's not like it's 100% necessary to help heal from anxiety, but it's interesting to know that kind of stuff because especially if you fall off the mountain and you go through something like what we've been through, it's like, oh, okay, it's the brain rewiring, it's the new pathways growing, it's the new neurons growing. And when we've figured out just from our own journey, Ani and I, that's why we always say when you feel the worst, you're healing the most. And it makes sense that the neurons are not shutting down, but they're growing. And when that energy is being spent to grow the new pathways, they're growing. So they're not connected yet. And then when you get out of that growth, that growing, what we call a wave, then you get to a point. That's why we always say we always feel better. We're in a higher baseline when we come out of that growth wave. So it's like you're kind of shut down. You don't feel good. You don't feel purpose. You don't feel like doing anything. Nothing's exciting. That's because you're in this like growth, kind of like when you're a kid and your legs are growing and you have those growing pains. It's painful because you're growing. And then months later, years later, you're taller. So it's like that. It's like months later, we're feeling better. We're feeling excited. We got a new thing coming back to us. Oh, I feel like traveling now. Oh, I feel like going out to eat with a friend now. When before it's like nothing mattered because of that growth. I don't know 100% if that's how it happens, but just from my experience, and I think both of our experience, that's how it's happening for us. It's like every single time we come out of feeling like shit, it feels like shit because it's like life is supposed to be about purpose. And so we just feel terrible and nothing makes sense. And then you come out of it and you're upgraded and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel better because those pathways are connecting now. But in the form of the growth, they're not connecting, and that's why you feel bad. So yeah.
Okay, this will have to be Einstein to translate, but let's try.
You can do it.
Okei, eli ei kukaan oikeasti ole niinku tyhmä, niinku addiktiossa voi alkaa tuntemaan, niinku Mandikin luuli, että se on ollut tyhmä silloin, kun se on käyttänyt kofeiinia, minä luulin. Mä muistan, kun mun terapeuttikin sanoi mulle, kun mä sanoin parikymppisenä, että musta tuntuu siltä, että mä en ymmärrä asioita, että mä oon niinku jotenkin tyhmempi, niin se sanoi, että jos sä oot saanut ajokortin, niin et sä oot tyhmä. No, se ei oikein niinku ehkä riittänyt mulle silloin selitykseksi ymmärtää, miksi mulla on niin paljon mielenterveysongelmia ja pakkoireita, mutta anyway, sitten kun ne aivot alkaa luoda niitä uusia hermoyhteyksiä, uusia hermosoluja alkaa syntyä, niin kuin jollekin meistä ne tavallaan niin kuin täytyy kasvattaa uudestaan ne hermosolut, ne yhteydet sinne, mikäli me nyt on ymmärretty tätä prosessia oikein ja ymmärretty sitä, mitä se on, kun tuntuu tuolla aivoissa, niitä erilaisia tuntemuksia, mitä se on, kun menee siihen niin sanottuun paranemisaaltoon, missä ne kaikki oireet on niin kuin voimakkaammillaan, niin se on oikeastaan sitä, että ne aivot luo niitä uusia yhteyksiä joka kerta semmoisen aallon jälkeen. Olo on aina päivittynyt uudelle tasolle. Ja se on aika mielenkiintoista, mutta samalla se on ollut tosi niin kuin haastavaa ja pelottavaa. Ja siinä kestää niin kuin aikaa, mutta se on aika uskomatonta, miten aivot luo niitä uusia yhteyksiä, mutta ehkä me siitä puhutaan sitten jossain kohtaa enemmän, kun me ymmärretään aiheesta vähän enemmän. I don't know if I translated that right, but we're going to talk about those neural pathways and neurons more when we are more educated. And I'm just very passionate about the brain and neurons and all about the rewiring. But I know that, I'm not any kind of scientist or any kind of like you all are smart. And you can just make your own research about that. But if you have been watching that video that I put in my channel, Caffeine and the Brain, you can maybe get some kind of hint what is happening in our brain when we use caffeine.
I think while we're healing, it's interesting. I've said this so many times, but because I've been told, like, when you're completely free of this, you don't care. You're just you're busy living. It's all connecting. All that chemical, I've been told it's called a chemical cocktail of working perfectly. The hormones, the chemicals, everything, hormones are chemicals, but the neurotransmitters being chemicals, the hormones being chemicals, all the chemicals are working the way they're supposed to be because we're not getting manipulated by the drug anymore. And it's making it all on its own and it's all balanced out. When someone says that, oh, you have a chemical imbalance and you need to go on antidepressants because of this chemical imbalance, like, it makes no sense because it's like, well, yeah, it's technically a chemical imbalance, But why is it imbalanced? Most likely, I mean, so many people are on this underestimated drug and it is causing problems. It's a drug. Like, it's just like, hello.
Niin, eli just sekin, että jos sulla on mielenterveysongelmia, sä meet lääkäriin ja sanoo, että sulla on niinku kemiallinen epätasapaino, sitten ne alkaa antaa sulle psyykelääkkeitä. Mutta kuka kertoo, miksi sulla on se kemiallinen epätasapaino? Ei siinä ole mitään järkeä, niin kuin ottaa toista myrkkyä toisen jälkeen. So you're gonna take another drug after another, and then you're gonna be in that cycle, and that's how our system works.
It's like my friend, I've talked about this.
Yeah, but try what happens when you don't take any then.
Right. I mean, it's amazing how you quit everything, give it time. It might take some time, but you will be naturally feeling good. The GABA is working when it's supposed to calm you down, help you go to sleep, help relax you, help you take those deep breaths. And even taking that deep breath relaxes you even more. And then you get excited when you're supposed to get excited instead of like drinking the coffee and then getting excited when you're not supposed to get excited and it being false. Or not just coffee, but any drug. And so I just wanted to say really quick, when Hardik said, could it be from caffeine? I mean, yeah, but it can be from any drug. But yes, caffeine, 100%. And healing from it, the anxiety that we can get from it when we're healing, when the brain's rewiring, because it is a stress on the body at the time when it's missing its drug, thinking that it needs it to survive and all that. And that's why we have videos about the allostasis and homeostasis, because when it's going back to homeostasis, it is going through this whole healing process and it can be stressful. And so I don't know if you're still here, but the hands and the feet getting cold, I mean, that is all a symptom of anxiety because of the healing. But and I've said this so many times, anytime you feel something that it's not normal, it's because it's not normal because you are. But at the same time, it will go away. Eventually, stay clean and give it time, and some symptoms might come and go, and that might come back. But that is such a normal symptom, a sensation that the body's going through when you feel a certain way, when you talk to a certain person. Sometimes I would get hot. I would talk to somebody and I would start to get really hot. And that's just everything being unwired or not connecting right. And that's just the body going back to homeostasis. I don't want to say heat production. What's it called? Temperature regulation is a big part of homeostasis. Just like our blood sugar, sometimes we feel like we're dizzy, or it's like our blood sugar, or we feel dizzy because our all these things, our heart, all these things are not in line because they're not in homeostasis. Like the body needs to be in homeostasis and it's getting there. So when you feel certain things that are off, that's all part of the healing.
Joo, eli kaikki ne epätasapainotilat on osa sitä paranemista. Toi Hardik lähetti semmoisen kysymyksen, missä se nyt olikaan, että kun se puhuu ihmiselle, niin kädet ja jalat on kylmät, voiko tämä olla kofeiinista, niin mä en just sano, että kyllä ahdistus myös aiheuttaa noita oireita. Ja sitten me on tehty se yksi video siitä, no se on kyllä englanniksi, mutta se kannattaa katsoa se allostasis and homeostasis video, niin kuin mistä me on puhuttu siitä allostaattisesta tilassa, missä keho sopeutuu siihen huumeen käyttöön. Ja joitakin muutoksiahan tapahtuu silloin monessakin meidän järjestelmässä. Ja sitten kun sä alat vierottautua ja parantua, niin sitten se keho alkaa mennä takaisin siihen homeostaasiin, eli tasapainoon. Ja se aiheuttaa noita kaikenlaisia tuntemuksia. Ja se aiheuttaa myös sen, että välillä voi olla, että sulla on tosi hyviäkin jaksoja, että se masennus poistuu, ahdistus poistuu. Joillakin se ei koskaan niin kuin, poistu täysin, että siinä kestää, että se on hyvin semmoista niin kuin, pitkä prosessi. Mutta joillakin on sitten enemmän semmoisia, että on parempia kausia ja huonompia kausia, niin se on just sitä rewiring, että se keho ja kaikki välittäjäaineet yrittää löytää sitä tasapainoa. So it's why it's like a non-linear process. It's just what you said. It's different for every people. Some people it's more about windows and waves. For others it's not windows and waves. It's others it's pure hell until it gets better. Sorry to say that, but it's something that I wanted to share because this is something that people have been shared with me.
It's tough. It's hard.
Yeah. So we are all indifferent also in that sense that how our brain is healing, I guess.
It's no joke. But just what TM42 said, the pulsating in the forehead, yeah, that is, anytime, see, it's like, is that normal? Anytime we're asking anything that you know is off or not normal, is a normal state of healing, that it is the body, exactly what I just said, it is the body going back to homeostasis, because it is the pulsating that is part of the vascular. If you just look up what homeostasis does, it does the whole, it just regulates all these different systems in the body. And when they're off, because you're healing, because your body's freaking out, that's again why we have that allostasis and homeostasis video. You're in allostasis on caffeine. And then when you quit, the body, what's the body going to do? You're quitting a drug. It's thinking that it's supposed to survive in this allostatic state. And now it's going back to homeostasis, which is like the optimal state. It takes time, and there's so many different things rewiring. It's just, it is very, very, so anytime you're asking, is this normal? Even though it doesn't seem normal, it is normal in the moment because it's not normal. Like, I know it seems kind of a funny thing, but
Yes, eli
what
kaikkien
is the, I don't know what they're, I don't know what Tula's saying.
Tula said that one woman said Facebook that each one of us have these everyday drugs that rise our endorphins like sport, alcohol, caffeine, and he said that human maybe not can't live if those are not there.
What?
Yes.
Sorry, I don't mean it like that.
Yeah, that's like.
They can't live if they're not taking that?
But it's just like I don't agree
What are they,
with.
what are they saying? I don't understand.
Like, does she mean that we cannot live without caffeine or alcohol? Some people can, but is it that like optimal? No.
I don't understand.
Maybe ehkä Tuula, sä voit, jos sä haluat vielä selventää, tarkoittiko se siis sitä, että tavallaan vähän niin kuin puolustelevalla kannalla, että kaikkihan käyttää kofeiinia, että kofeiini on vähän sama kuin urheilu, ja niin kuin, että tarkoittiko se vähän niin kuin sillä tavalla sitä?
See, yeah. Just real quick, that's why the groups can be so irritating. I really still don't understand, but so many people are saying so many different things. Is this person even sober? Like, have they gone through this for years and let the body do its thing? Like, that's why it's, people are like, oh, I read this from this group, or I read this from this. And like, we're getting so much opinion and misinformation. Yeah, we're sharing our opinion, but.
Yes. And experience. Niin kuin ihmisillä on aina, kaikilla on se oma mielipide, kaikilla on oikeus siihen, mutta niin kuin mä aina sanon, että tehkää omat johtopäätöksenne ja kokeilkaa. Onko se ihminen kokeillut olla ilman näitä kaikkia huumeita? Ja sillä tavallahan sen parhaiten tietää, mikä sitten omalla kohdalla on tilanne.
I guess until I understand more of what that means, I just don't.
Yep. Only way to find out it's by experiencing and do the human experience for yourself. Like, that's only way to know how is the quitting caffeine for you, is to try that. But exactly. I'm pretty sure that everyone, and for the young people, like the energy drink, those young people that I see more and more, 10 years old. And actually I was watching one series in Netflix, and there was that one teenager saying that I need caffeine to start my day. Like, it's all about like those TV series, it's caffeine everywhere. Teenagers are using it, so normal.
Yeah.
Niin kuin kaikissa TV-sarjoissa niin kuin teinit ottaa kofeiinia tai energiajuomaa, ja siitä on tehty, niin kuin, että se on semmoista niin kuin siistiä ja coolia ja normaalia.
And that's the thing, that they do need it because your brain and body are dependent. That's why we talk about the allostasis. Like it does need it in the moment. And look how long it takes to get away from it, but it doesn't need it unless it becomes dependent on it. And even once it becomes dependent on it, it really doesn't need it, but the brain thinks it needs it. And it's just this like whole cycle of addiction. Oh, maybe she explained it
Yeah,
to
Tula say
Lara.
that she did try to um, challenge her to this caffeine stuff, but she did get very nervous and completely nervous, and she said that she would never quit her coffee. Joo, eli se...
The other person, the other
other
lady
person,
that was,
other lady, yeah.
well, yeah, because
Todellakin.
she's gonna go through some. The brain knows you're gonna go through some stuff to get to the other side. It's just that's why we make these videos. That's why we've been doing this for so long. It is hard to get sober. That's why we had our last video about relapse. Like it is just,
Sen takia se on
yeah,
niin
this
haastavaa
person.
lopettaa, niin se varmasti haluaa niin kuin just puolustaa sitä ja varmastikin hermostuu, moni hermostuu. Mutta
And here's the thing too, how I see it. This person hasn't fallen off the mountain yet. So they're consuming it. They're happy being on it for the most part. I'm sure they have symptoms because of it, but their body is able to handle it still. And until this person, if they ever do, maybe they don't fall off the mountain. Maybe they don't get terrible anxiety from it, but they might have stomach issues or sleep issues or nerve issues or something. And see, that's what that's what we were talking about in the beginning. Like people getting on Facebook and saying their opinion and how it affects them, let them have it, you know? But I think that when you're trying to quit or you have anxiety, especially like falling off the mountain type anxiety, and then you read something like that, it can get confusing because, you know, it's like, well, why can that person consume it? And why aren't they going through this? And that's the whole point of like, sometimes the groups can be good in a lot of ways for some support, but then it can be very confusing like that. And it's just, that's why we just have to focus on ourselves and understand that like all drugs are bad, no drugs are good.
yeah.
But yes, can some people handle them? Yeah, but does that mean that it's good? No. We know the truth. It's
Eli
hard though to get free, but
se varmaan itse pystyy silti vielä käyttämään ja ei ole niin sanotusti tipautunut vuorelta tai ollut tämmöistä burnouttia kuin meille kävi. Ehkä sillä ei ole sitten niin paljon ahdistusta, mutta ihan varmasti se kofeiini jollakin tavalla häneenkin vaikuttaa. Ja sitähän ei tiedä joillakin, jotkut pystyy käyttämään sitä loppuelämänsä, ettei niille tämmöistä burnouttia tapahdu, mutta ei se sitä tarkoita, että se ei niihin vaikuta. Mutta sitä on just Mandin kanssa puhuttu, että sen takia monissa ryhmissä siellä ei aina välttämättä niin kuin tule itselle kauhean hyvä olo tässä paranemisprosessissa, jos siellä on paljon semmoisia ihmisiä, jotka niin kuin, esimerkiksi puolustaa tai on hirveän kärkkäitä jostakin asiasta, niin sitten on ehkä helpompi vaan jättää se. So it can be easier to just leave those people in their own peace.
yeah,
Because they
right.
will never agree. Kun ne ei koskaan kuitenkaan...
Why are they on? I don't really understand, but why are they in a group telling people, like, why are they there talking? That's what I've never understood. Like, why are they there wasting their time talking about how they can't quit? And that's just silly. But again, it's hard to go through to get sober, but so worth it. I wanted to finish with that. It's so worth it
Se on
to
kuitenkin
be free.
rankka käydä se prosessi läpi, mutta niin kuin Mandy sanoi, että se on todellakin sen arvosta, että sitä halutaan painottaa ja minä myöskin painotan sitä. Juhani said his own coffee tapering is going very well. He have been tapering a lot of daily dose and very mild coffee than strong and very much craving coffee, but he is standing with the plan. Very good. Hyvä, Juhani.
Yeah,
Hienoa. Se on.
Stick with it.
On hyvä. Hyvä.
Stick with it. Yeah, years of living like this, an addiction.
Vuosia elänyt, niin se ei ole ihan niin.
It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to get rid of it. It is.
Hienosti. He's doing very good.
Very good. Yeah, we know how hard it is, so but I just wouldn't worry about what other people are saying. It's hard. It's easier said than done to not worry about it, especially when you're going through something so hard.
Se on helpommin
And
sanottu
Tula,
kuin tehty, että ei ota niin kuin niistä ihmisten kommenteista itteensä, koska kyllähän se aihe niin kuin, kyllä se ärsyttää. And one thing, like you said, it's easier said than done, especially if you are like me. I'm all about this topic. Like, it's not always just like easy for me. Okay, do what you want, use what you want. It's first of
yeah,
all, like watching the kids having a lot of this drug. It's not always like it's not so easy,
right.
but just it is easier when you still focus on your own journey and you can do best that you can to help others if they want help. But if they don't
Yeah.
want help, then you cannot help.
But a person being in a group called Quitting Caffeine, this is what I used to talk about a lot with my friend, that how silly is that for them to be on a group called Quitting Caffeine but advocating for drugs? Like that's just silliness. They're just that one person that's addicted and just on there talking when it's like, you don't need, this isn't the group for you. You know, that's not a group for you called Quitting Caffeine or quitting any drug. And then to talk about that it's okay. I still don't really understand exactly what that person was saying. But how long has Tula been quit? Just a few months, right?
Tuula, kauanko sä olit nyt ollut? Onko sä ollut 3-4 kuukautta? Mä en muista.
She needs all the
Ihan.
support right now that she can get. 2 months caffeine.
Yes.
Uh,
2 months caffeine.
Yeah, we talked about that in the last video about
Yes.
relapse. Because alcohol is a mind-altering substance. So I think to be completely free of everything is the best way. Does it slow the healing process? In my opinion, yes. Because you're consuming a mind-altering substance. Like if you smoke cigarettes, it's all changes the brain chemistry. Smoking weed, taking pills.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sober from everything. I think that that's
Cigarettes.
truly the way to
Nikotiini.
heal.
Joo, eli Sam kysyy 2 kuukautta ilman
Nicotine.
kofeiinia, niin kuin, hidastaako alkoholi paranemisprosessia? No meidän mielipide, niin kyllä kaikki mieleen vaikuttavat aineet hidastaa ja ne vaikuttaa aivoihin. Et se kannattaa pitää mielessä. Nikotiini, pilvi.
I mean, it just depends on, for Sam, it
Pillerit,
just depends on
lääkkeet.
what you're trying to achieve. You know, everybody can,
Niin, se riippuu mitä on, niin kuin haluaa saavuttaa. Että haluatko sä lopettaa niin kuin, it depends, like do you wanna just now quit the caffeine and maybe later you
right.
quit the alcohol, but I think you still have the benefits from quitting caffeine. Even you get some benefits for sure when you quit caffeine. That's my opinion. Even I don't
Right.
recommend using anything mind altering, but that's amazing that you have been able to quit caffeine. So congratulations.
Yeah,
Se on
exactly.
jo tosi hienoa, että on pystynyt
And Sam, do you
lopettamaan.
have anxiety? Kind of just depends on what he's after. Did you get really bad anxiety when you quit caffeine?
Yeah.
But yeah, alcohol, it
Server anxiety
It works on-
attacks and I want to be back to normal.
oh, I don't see that yet. Hold on.
Yes, and you
Okay,
will,
I've had-
but if you just can stay away from the
You will.
alcohol, if you can, like
Yeah,
you will
I
get
think
back to normal for sure.
because the alcohol works on serotonin and then GABA, or does it go to GABA then serotonin? But the GABA is the calming neurotransmitter, so it might make you feel calm, but it's a fake thing, just like the caffeine. I would suggest staying away from the alcohol too, but
No, alkoholi voi vähän rauhoittaa, mutta se kuitenkin vaikuttaa aivoihin, niin kyllä jos vaan pystyy, niin kannattaa se jättää pois.
and if you stay away from all mind altering substances with time, you will the panic attacks will go away. All the symptoms will fade in time. It takes time though.
Kaikki paniikkikohtaukset ja kaikki noin loppuu ajan kanssa.
Good. It gets better.
Yeah,
It can come and
very
go,
good.
maybe
Yeah, amazing.
ups and downs, but
Tuula says 5 months, a few chocolate pieces, and she had really bad symptoms still today when she was in the shopping center. Yes, it's very
yeah,
normal. You are doing so
very
well,
normal.
Tuula. Sä, Tuula, pärjäät
Very.
hienosti. I'm so excited that you are in this journey.
Keep it up.
Keep
Keep
it
it
up,
up.
Tuula.
Very normal to feel it in public.
Yeah, se on
So
tosi
that
normaalia.
time.
I want to tell one experience about the shopping center just to calm anyone's mind. It was about
Yeah.
my first year, and I did have a huge panic attack, and I had this big winter coat that my this was stuck. So I did rip off
Zipper.
the zipper was stuck. So I did have hell of a panic attack in the shopping center. So I have to rip off all the jacket, and there was people there
Oh,
watching, and I was like crazy person, like whoa. And then I just lost it. Like that's how bad it can be when you have panic attacks and like feeling weird that you feel almost that everything is a threat. Like
yeah.
everything was a threat for me. Now I can laugh about it and make joke and make fun of that, but in the moment it was hard.
Mm. Yeah. Right. Yeah. We can laugh about it now, kind of, but in the moment, there's nothing like it. It's just,
Se oli ihan järkyttävää, kun silloin jossain vaiheessa, kun mulla oli niin pahoja sitä ahdistusta ja niin kuin mä olin siinä taistelejapakenetilassa tuossa kofeiinivierotusprosessissa, että mä menin yhteen ostoskeskukseen ja mulla oli semmoinen talvitakki ja siinä jäi vetoketju jumiin, niin mun piti repiä se päältä. Mä sain ihan järkyttävän paniikkikohtauksen ja se oli ihan sama, mihin mä menin tai yritin mennä, niin mulla oli aina se semmoinen, niin kuin, siis semmoinen, että sydän hakkaa ja semmoinen niin kuin ylivirittynyt olo, mutta samalla täysin lamaantunut olo. Ja mä tiedän, että monella kofeiinivierottujalla on se ja vaikka mitä tuntemuksia voi olla ja se ei ole helppoa, se on todella vaikeaa, mutta se kaikki kuuluu siihen prosessiin ja ne oireet menee ohi. Just wanted to say that it's part of the process, that's why to throw in these examples.
yeah. It's good to hear the stories. I have a lot of them.
Juhani
Yes.
asked how long the intrusive thoughts can last. For him, sometimes it's very bad, it's not nice, but it's good to know where it comes.
Yeah.
Joo, eli
Very normal.
kuinka kauan ne voi kestää? No, ne voi kestää tässä paranemisprosessissa vuosia. Ne tulee ja menee, ja niin kuin sanoit just, että kun sä tiedät, että se stressi aiheuttaa niitä, niin, ja ne ei ole vaarallisia, niin se auttaa, mutta se on tosi normaalia, että niitä on. Joillakin tässä prosessissa niitä pakkoajatuksia on ihan jatkuvasti joka päivä koko ajan, myöskin tässä vierotuksessa, myöskin silloin kun käyttää kofeiinia, niin niitä voi olla, niin kuin mulla oli. Mulla niitä on ollut tässä vierotuksessa aika paljon niin kuin päivittäin, enää niitä ei ole juurikaan. Joskus, jos on stressiä, niin niitä voi pikkusen tulla, mutta se ei ole mitään niin kuin oli, että niitä oli mulla jatkuvasti päässä niin kuin niitä ahdistavia ajatuksia. Ja ne hiljalleen niin katoaa. About the intrusive thoughts, I just wanted to make to clear that it's very completely normal to even have those for years in this healing process. And some people, those intrusive thoughts are most very intense in this process. It can be that they are daily there, all the time, constantly. And it's very normal when the brain is doing that rewiring. It's also very normal to have those when you are on caffeine because of the stress and state of the fight or flight, because your brain is thinking that there is a danger, but there is not actual danger, so it makes the danger. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, it makes it up, whatever it wants to cling on to make you feel like, oh God, why are you in there? Why are you in my head? What's wrong with me? Nothing is wrong with you. The fact that you hate that it's there, that's just normal. It's just part of it until when the anxiety is completely gone, they will go.
Se on normaalia.
You'll have them.
Kun se ahdistus menee, niin ne pakkoajatuksetkin loppuu.
Yeah, as
Maddie,
long as you
do you wanna still explain? I know that you have that good explanation about the intrusive. That's how the brain makes them. Like, if you can.
yeah. But as long as we have anxiety while we're healing, they can be there. So it's very normal. Meditation helped with the intrusive thoughts. That's awesome,
Yeah.
Sam.
Good.
Some people, it can make it worse. I just want to say that, like, if you start meditating or doing some type of like yoga and you have the intrusive thoughts, it can like exacerbate it. I've been told that. I kind of had that in the beginning, but like we've talked about before, the anxiety can be mild to panic for some people. So when I had just mild, when I was in caffeineism, meditation, yoga would help me. But if it was in panic all the time, it's like almost like counterproductive. It almost makes it worse. So it's like better to be calm and then do it. But you can try to do it. But I guess I want to say that if somebody tries to meditate and then they still have them or their work, that's okay too.
Yeah.
That's normal. But
Yeah.
it's wonderful that it helped you. That's why I always try to stress to people, like, just do what feels good to you.
Yeah.
If you try to go work out and you feel worse afterwards, then just don't work out that hard, or, maybe go for a lighter walk, or just do what feels good, and just understand that this is so normal when you're healing from this underestimated drug. It's just all these things. But okay, so talk about why.
Yes, I would like to have that. I
Kind of
know
why.
now why is it, but I don't know every people doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily know.
Okay. Yeah. So when we're truly being threatened by something and our life is in danger, so like it's a mechanism built in us. Like if we were back in the day and a tiger was chasing us, that's why people always say like the tiger chasing you. You can see that tiger chasing you. So when the tiger is chasing you, you go into this fight or flight state to survive. You could freeze, you could flee. Most people would probably freeze, I think. I don't know, but anyway, you see the tiger, you see the danger, you see the threat, literally, and your heart starts to pound and your adrenaline starts to pump through your body. It's all about survival. But in modern times, with all this freaking caffeine that we're putting in our body, especially, I mean, stress is stress. Stress is going to happen throughout our day.
Mm-hmm.
But you put that caffeine in your body and your bucket, well, that's what we talk about that all the time, the bucket just overflows. So, but let's just say you have the perfect life and no stress for whatever reason, but you consume a ton of caffeine. Your body is naturally going to pump out that adrenaline. And all that adrenaline pumping out, the brain's like, why am I pumping out all this adrenaline? Why is my heart pounding? Because that's what caffeine does. It makes the heart pound. It causes that stress. But the brain is going, well, where's the threat? There's no tiger chasing me. There's no threat. But the body feels the adrenaline. So the brain's going, well, there must be a threat if I've got all this adrenaline pumping through my body and I've got my heart pounding. So it starts to make stuff up because it doesn't see the tiger. So if it sees the tiger, it knows literally, like, I see a tiger, I'm being chased, I've got to survive. It doesn't make up any intrusive thoughts because it sees it. But in modern times, because of the stress of the caffeine, all the adrenaline, it doesn't see the tiger. The stress is the caffeine, not the tiger.
Yeah.
But it doesn't see it because it's ingested. It starts to make up these intrusive thoughts because if it feels like it's in danger, but it's not in danger, then what's going on? So it has to, because the brain thinks in like ones and zeros, it thinks in black and white or gray or whatever it is, but it's like it's not, it doesn't understand. So it has to be something. And so it starts to make up stuff. And that's just how the brain works. It's all about survival. But it's weird. Like some of them can be weird, like they can be
Scary.
harm, scary,
Harm.
sexual.
Sex. Yeah.
And usually it's stuff that it can be all kinds of different stuff, but usually just kind of what I've learned on the journey, that it's stuff that we really love and that we're scared of. Because again, it's usually we're like, I hate this. Get out of my head. Why is this here? We're questioning it. We don't want it there. That again, we know that we're normal because we don't want it there, even though that's why it's called intrusive or unwanted, because we don't want them, but they're there because of that physical feeling, and then the brain and the body are trying to connect and communicate. But again, it's making stuff up. It's making it up. It's not real, but it's there and it's bothering us and we hate it. But when the body finally starts to go back to homeostasis and it's connecting after all these months or years or however long it takes your body, you will not have them anymore. They're like so far away. They're just a memory. And then they become, they get to, you get to a place where it's just, you get to a place where it's kind of silly. They start to become silly. And then you get to a place where it's like a memory. And then you get to a place where it's like a memory of somebody else. And then they just fade. Sometimes they can come back, like if you're in a wave. And then for me, I've been able to just say like, oh, that's just an intrusive thought. That's just this process. Like it's nothing scary anymore. Was it scary before? Yeah. But they've become so faded and so distant that, and then eventually they're just not there. We're back to ourselves.
Aivot keksii sitten, niin kuin, koska jos ei ne aivot näe sitä leijonaa, sitä todellista vaaraa, koska jos olisi todellinen vaara, niin sun aivot menee sinne taistelemaan ja pakenetilaan. Siellä on leijona, se on todellinen vaara, sun täytyy valmistautua taistelemaan ja pakeneen. Mutta sitten kun sä juot kahvia tai otat kofeiinia ja aivot on silleen, että ei täällä näy mitään vaaraa, niin ne alkaa keksiä sen. Eli ne tekee näitä ajatuksia, pakkoajatuksia. Pakkoajatuksethan on hyvin monesti, niin ne on todella epämiellyttäviä. Ne voi olla hyvin semmoisia seksuaalisia, ne voi olla sitä, että sä haluat vahingoittaa jotakin, itseään läheisiä. Ne voi olla hyvin siis semmoisia ajatuksia, mitä sä et ikinä haluaisi ajatella. Sä et voi edes ymmärtää, miksi sulla on semmoisia ajatuksia. Niin kuin mä itse muistan silloin, kun mulla alkoi nuorena ne ajatukset, niin mä itkin monta kertaa. Mä aina itkin niin paljon, että miksi mulla pitää olla tämmöisiä ajatuksia, että mä en ymmärrä, että onko mä jotenkin paha. Ja sitten kun mä menin terapiaan ja näin, niin terapeutit vaan aina antoi ohjeita, että miten niinku, että niistä ajatuksista ei kannata välittää. Ja kun niitä ajatuksia tulee, niin antaa niiden vaan tulla ja antaa mennä. Ja joo, kaikki tämähän on ihan hienoa ja se voi auttaa niinku elämään niiden kanssa. Mutta se, että on oikeasti mahdollista päästä niistä ajatuksista kokonaan eroon, ja niin kuin itselläkin kofeiini aiheutti niitä, niin minusta se on ihan hullu, että miksei kukaan puhu siitä. So I just wanna also say about the intrusive thoughts that many people, when they go to therapies and they learn those coping skills about intrusive thoughts, how let the thought come and let the thought go, and all these are really good. It's nice to have these coping skills, but there are really possibility that those will go away completely. They are not there anymore, constant. So how amazing is that? And we have been experiencing that when we have been healing from the caffeineism. But while we were caffeinated, we were just always told that intrusive thoughts are something that you just have to cope with your life. Like you are just a sadly case that they are chronic for you, and then you can choose to take pills or just use these coping skills. No, it can actually be the cause of the drug addiction.
Yeah, it's anxiety. If you have the anxiety because of the drug, and if you're healing from it, it's the anxiety when it's normal to have it when you have anxiety, yes. But it's not normal to just have it, because that type of anxiety is there when you're being chased by that tiger to help you survive, but it's not just supposed to be there all day, every day. So that's where it seems like it's not normal, because yeah, it's not normal to have it like that, but it's normal to have it if you have anxiety. But there is definitely a way to get rid of it all, and that's to quit all mind-altering substances, especially caffeine, and give your body time to rewire. But I did want to say, because like, yes, sleep, exercise, water, faith, all that is so beautiful. When you quit the caffeine, you're going to start sleeping better in time. Yes. You know, you're going to exercise is going to be, but I just wanted to say those things are great and happen. The sleep happens, all that happens. Getting busy, getting a hobby, drinking water, eating, you know, for yourself, healthy for yourself, your faith, praying. That stuff is great in the moment. But I just want to say, if you do all those things and then you don't feel better magically, that's because this just takes time. Everything is scheduled. Your brain, when you quit the drug, your brain is scheduled to rewire it. So if you do all those things, implement all those things in your life and you're still feeling symptoms, that's because you're healing. And like, it just takes time. But yes, it's great to implement those things in your life. I
Yes.
just wanted to say that.
Yes, do ever what works for you, because even it takes time. It's like you don't have to sit all day inside if you are not in so
Right.
bad state. Like whenever I could do
Yeah.
something, I did do. Like whenever I had my good window, I did go somewhere, or even walking, even like you can always make something. I know, because you are smart. You just find your own way to pass your time. You will find that.
Yes. And if you go out, you go dancing, you go for a walk, whatever you do, and you don't feel good, then you try it, and then you
Yes.
go home, and then you try it again later. But I just wanted to say, because when we have the video of the quick fix video, because Hardik said, please help me, things to heal faster. There's really, for me, what I found, there's no quick fix. I mean, if there are, let us know, but for people that are in the beginning. But because there's no quick fix that we found, and it is just time getting through it with grace and finding these coping skills to get through it while you're healing is huge.
Yep.
Finding a loved one, buddy to go through this with, but to heal, that's what we want. We want to heal faster, but that's part of the beautiful part of the journey, is understanding that it's accepting in the patience that it's time, it's abstinence and time. But yeah.
Drew, I'm so excited to start this journey. Yay! Thank you,
Yay.
Drew. Yes, and like I'm gonna translate a little bit. I'm always forgetting.
Yeah.
Niin, eli kun tällä matkalla moni haluaisi, että voisi parantua tosi supernopeasti, ja kaikille se ei just välttämättä ole mahdollista, jos on varsinkin kokenut tämmöisen vuorelta tippumisburnoutin niin kuin me, niin just se, että tee vaan mitä ikinä itsellesi koet parhaaksi, eli jos sä pystyt käymään kävelyillä, meditoimaan, jotenkin, kunhan sä jotenkin pystyt kuluttamaan sitä sun aikaa, mikä ikinä se onkaan sulle sopivaa, niin kuin, että se ei aiheuta sulle liikaa stressiä, ja kokeilla niin kuin, sillä tavalla itsekin selvisi niin kuin päivästä toiseen, että aina joka päivällä niin kuin, koitti vaan niin kuin, edes jonkun yhden pienen asian niin kuin, ja oli itselle armollinen, että ymmärsi sen, että on parantumassa tämmöisestä addiktiosta, eikä tarviikaan niin kuin, yrittää pystyä siihen, mitä ennen pystyi, kun ei ne aivot vaan toiminut. Että jos pystyy olemaan niin kuin itselleen armollinen, niin se voi auttaa. And just like being empathic to yourself, like you don't have to be able to function like you used to were when you are healing from the addiction. Because like we said, the brain is recovering. So if you can just be like empathic and say that, okay, I cannot maybe do the things that I used to do. Like I couldn't work out like I used to do. I just couldn't. I felt bad. I couldn't go club and dance and enjoy the dancing. I wish I could have to go sing karaoke, and I wish I could have, but my dopamine was so low. I couldn't. I was having so much depression. So I just somehow get through the days, and I was trying to be kind to myself. So I say that be kind to yourself, because once you are healed, you enjoy things even more than you ever were.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because the time's going to pass by anyway. If it's going to pass by while you're in addiction, it's going to pass by while you're recovering. And yes, it's being in addiction is hard too, but recovering is hard. But then when you're done with the recovery, you're free. You're free of the addiction, and you've rewired, and you're back to you, and it's worth it. Like I said,
and remember how hard addiction, if you were really huge addict like we were, like tons of caffeine every day, you were like having a panic attacks, you were whatever you were having, intrusive thoughts, OCD. Remember that
PMS.
being addicted is not nice when you get older. When you get older and you are really heavy addict, it's gonna suck.
The irritability, the rage, the road rage, the paranoia. I mean, in addiction, there's a lot of symptoms, but you're high, you're high. So it's like, oh, You're just running around. What did we say the other day? A happy idiot. We're like running around just kind of.
Addiction makes being slave more excited.
Yeah.
Addiktio
Yeah.
tekee orjana olemisesta paljon
That's huge.
jännittävämpää.
Wow, that's so huge. That's so good.
Niin, että kun ei kannata siis odottaa kovin vanhaksi, että lopettaa kofeiinin käytön tai minkään huumeen käytön, koska mitä vanhemmaksi tulee, niin se vaan niin kuin pahenee omasta kokemuksesta, vaikka olin 37-vuotias, kun lopetin. I was 37 when I quit, and your Mandy, you was
41.
41. So even we know people who are 70s and they have quit, and they still have the benefits from quitting.
Yeah.
Yli 70-vuotiaatkin on lopettanut ja ne on kokenut positiivisia asioita lopettamisesta, että ei ole milloinkaan liian myöhäistä lopettaa. It's never still too late. Maybe if you are over 90 and very sick and drinking heavily, then I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know then. But
yes.
Thank you. Maybe we are starting to put this live to the package. Nyt voi vielä jotakin kysymyksiä kysyä. Kiitos. Juhani say thank you for both. When telling these things you are precious, and when you share information he have got a lot of understanding and it helps to cope. Kiitos Juhani. Kiva kuulla, että nämä auttaa.
Just keep going. It's worth it. It's better. I know it's hard. I know it's hard.
Se on vaikeaa, niin kuin Mandi sanoi, mutta jatka eteenpäin. Jaakko says many people believe that caffeine is good for you. That's why they don't even think about quitting. Yes,
right.
That's
yeah.
right.
Ignorance is bliss.
But any questions? And we are always very happy to do these lives. It's just for us like some kind of blessing, I guess, for both of us. Me and Mandy, we do believe that when you experience something like this and then you share that, it helps others, and it's cool.
One person at a time. We're understanding that it's an underestimated drug and that it is causing people issues, even if they want to believe it or not. While you guys were suffering. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Hardik, yes. That's because anxiety, it causes doubt. Anxiety causes doubt. It's its job to cause doubt. Cato talks about that a lot in his videos. It is its primary job. And the doubt is there even when you're recovering, because that's just what it does, right? And then you just have to stick with it. And then you slowly start to see how you're upgraded after every wave, if you have a wave, and it just gets the acceptance. What I've kind of learned is when you start accepting it, it's not because you're accepting it because you're just like, oh, I've given up, I'm accepting it. It's because the anxiety is getting lighter and you're getting stronger. So it's not like, oh, I've come to a point where I can accept this now. You're getting to a point where you're on the other end of recovery at that time. So it's so normal when you're in the beginning to feel like this is just, you don't understand. It's like, is what Mandy and Ani are talking about, do they even have what I have? Maybe it's something else. No. I always do say go to the doctor at least one time, at least once.
Just to check.
Get it checked out.
But
don't keep going.
It calms your mind when you check that everything is okay, like your blood test and everything. But
yeah,
I know, Hardik, that you probably also start to have those little moments that you feel something really cool, like you feel that you are in the moment, or you feel the dreams that you have never seen, like you see so much vivid dreams, or maybe you feel that you are a child again. Like I have that one moment like recently that I felt like I was in the snowstorm, like I was the snowstorm. I was so excited. Everyone else was pissed, like my boyfriend was pissed, like we were in the car, and I was like euphoric. It was euphoria, pure euphoria. I was there in the snowstorm. I have never ever felt like that. Maybe in my early childhood, but that's something to be very excited when you recover. Like you're gonna just feel like stuff like you are in it. You are in it. You are not intrusive thoughts. You are not interrupted. You are in
You
it.
are the moment.
You are on the moment.
Yeah, and they might just be short-lived. They might be little glimpses. But I had that when I was out at my mom's around my 22 months. 20 or 22 months, and I was looking at the lake. I was like, the lake is so beautiful. And I was looking at it, and I knew it was beautiful before, but as I was looking at it, I felt like I was part of the lake. It was so weird. Like I was connected to the lake, and I was the lake, and the lake was me. It was this, I've never experienced anything like it. And everything felt peace and fine. Everything was going to be okay. And it was kind of short lived, but I've had moments like that where I'm looking at the trees and I'm just like so connected and I feel so good. And it happens more and more.
Sitten kun alkaa parantua, niin alkaa oikeasti kokea semmoisia hetkiä, ja niitä tulee siinä parantumismatkalla. Sä alat nähdä niin kuin tosi eläviä unia, sä alat niin kuin kokemaan, että sä oot enemmän hetkessä, niin kuin sä alat kokea niin kuin sä olisit lapsi. Niin kuin mulla oli yksi kokemus, tuossa yksi päivä me ajettiin autolla kotia päin, oli lumimyrsky, niin mä niin kuin oikeasti pystyin sille jotenkin sukeltaa siihen lumimyrskyyn, ja mä vaan niin kuin olin siinä. Ja mä en ole ikinä kokenut semmoista, niinku semmoista, että mä oon joku tilanne. Ja se on aika... Se on ihan huippua, niinku semmosia tulee. It's just, you don't just always know how to explain everything that is happening when you are healing. Some symptoms, you just don't know how to put them into words. Also the positive.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see the chat.
It's just natural.
Timed this quit date while I'm not working is a race change. Just curious how long you guys think before I'd be somewhat functional again. Say I wanted to take a part-time job. Well, it depends. Like, not everyone is gonna fall off the mountain, like we said, Drew. So, but the first 6 months, I'm pretty sure for many people say that first 6 months, 3 to 6 months are hardest. Pretty many people. But yeah, the part-time job can be a good idea.
Yeah. Just take it time, just knowing that quitting is the right thing to do.
33-year-old male average 400 to 60 milligrams per day, quitting cold turkey. Yeah,
it'll take your body as long as it, but yeah, you might not fall off the mountain.
Yeah, you can be recovering faster. So you will see.
Which is the bad anxiety. Falling off the mountain is the anxiety.
Yeah, falling off the mountain is the really bad anxiety that happens to some people like us, like when you are not functional, but it doesn't happen to everyone. So some people recover faster.
And yay, heartache. That's so good. It's so good to be free.
Yes. Jaakko says 4. Yeah, it depends.
4.
Like 4
for what?
Some. Do you mean 4
4 years? 4 months?
Jaakko.
Like 4 years.
Ei 4 vuotta varmaan tarkoita. Oliko, Jaakko, että 4 kuukautta oli sulla se pahin? Yeah, I also quit weed in these 3 years. Yehoo, yippee.
Oh, 4 energy drinks a day, because he spelled it as okay. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a lot.
4 energy drinks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, heartache.
Yes, and Jaakko
it's so good to be
quit
free.
a year and feeling great. Hyvä, Jaakko.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. So there you guys see, it's a different timeline. So don't get discouraged about this information that we are sharing. You see that there are also people who recovers from the years, and then there are people who recover faster. So don't get stuck to the timeline. Yeah, don't worry.
All good. Yeah, the timeline is so individual. It is. Just don't go back. Don't try not to be on any other mind-altering substance.
Yes, you too. I remember the quality of
you too, Drew.
Yes. Yes. And caffeinated breathing.
Are you going to quit on, I can't remember what you said. Are you going to quit on New Year's or you're quitting tomorrow?
Yes, and by the way, New Year and new caffeine quitters are going to come in this channel. So whoever is wanting to quit, maybe some of you know, wants this information, share this channel. and welcome all to New Year's quitters. I know in New Year many are quitting, so it's good. Oh,
I totally.
Yes, for sure.
Sorry to hear that.
Sorry to
That
hear
is,
that.
I think I remember you telling me that. And the fact that I understand that with death, because death, it's sad, right? And it's like, it's very sad, but it's something that's natural. It's going to happen. And there's something that I think we're just naturally born with to be able to cope with that. And I totally get that this was harder than a death, because I've had, just in the past 3-4 years, I've had like 6-7 people pass away. The most that's ever passed away in my life: 2 uncles, an aunt, a best friend, and my dog, my beloved dog, some friends from high school. I know I'm missing a couple of my mom's, my great aunt, a couple of great aunts. Anyway, that sadness that you feel when someone dies is so natural. It's so sad. It's, you're processing it, but something about the chemical depression that you feel when you go through this type, if you do fall up the mountain and you go through this type of anxiety and depression, it's so unnatural. It feels so awful, because it is unnatural to be on drugs and to heal from it. We're not supposed to be on caffeine our whole lives and then quit cold turkey. I mean, we're supposed to quit. We're supposed to not be on it, but quitting, something about the whole rewiring process is so different than even a death. I totally understand that.
Joo,
Because I have experience.
moni sanoo just,
I've
että
experienced it.
edes läheisen kuolema ei ole läheskään niin paha kuin tämä kofeiinivierotus, ja monelle ei ole ollut edes, niin kuin yksi kaveri sanoi, oliko se 4. tason syövästä parantunut, sanoi, että ei ole mitään se kokemus ollut verrattuna tähän kofeiinivierotukseen. Että se kertoo just jotakin tästä niin sanotusta kemiallisesta masennuksesta ja siitä ahdistuksesta, miten haastavaa se on, kun sitten taas, enkä mä millään lailla halua aliarvioida sitä, että jos joku läheinen kuolee, niin se on raskasta ja se suru tulee, mutta sitä Mandy just selitti, että se on silti aika luonnollinen asia, että ihmisiä kuolee, me kaikki kuollaan, ja me uskotaan, että meidät on silti luotu prosessoimaan luonnollisella tavalla näitä tunteita. Meidän keho osaa niitä prosessoida, mutta addiktio ja tästä addiktiosta paraneminen voi tehdä kaikesta vaan todella paljon haastavampaa silloin, kun ne prosessit ei toimi vielä. Yes, so I think this is it. I think this is like the last live together before the new year. But next year we'll of course continue, or I don't know, maybe we do one, but
the Christmas live.
But before Christmas, yeah, the Christmas is next week. So, but guys, thank you for being there and thank you for watching, and I wish you all a very, very good evening, and just keep going. You got this. And if you ever need to come to Discord to chat some other people, you know where is my Discord, you can come there and so on. So Mandy, thank you. Also, do you want to say any last words? Haluaako Mandy sanoa?
No, it's like Hardik said, it's hard. It is, but it is, again, it is worth it. You're going to feel so good very soon. It's going to get better and better.
Se paranee ja paranee, on sen lopettamisen arvosta. Kaikki palaa ennalleen. No, hyvää illan jatkoa ja nähdään taas uusien livejen parissa.
Thanks everyone. Have a good one.